Persians by Aeschylus. Characters: a chorus of Persian elders, Atossa, the queen, the mother of Xerxes, a messenger, Darius, father of Xerxes, Xerxes, king of Persia. The scene is set at the council chamber at Susa. Faithful to them that sailed over sea to Grecian lands, our name we hold, the Persians trust, true guardians we of many a temple rich in gold, and holy, whom our lord and king Xerxes, Darius born, for age and honor hath extolled, to watch his land forlorn. And while we wait his homecoming, for him and for his golden host, with fear and dark imagining, my spirit in a storm is tossed. For all the strength of Asia born, like hounds at a young master's horn, baying, away hath flown. And now for long no royal post, cometh no rider from the host, back to great Persia's throne. From Abgabaton, from Susa's tail, from ancient Kissia's guarded wall, we saw the horse and chariot go, the gliding ships, the footmen slow, in pomp of war far thrown, among them men of mighty name. A mistress, Artaphernes, came, Astapses, Megabates lords, of Persia, kings beneath the eye of the one king, most great, most high, ruling their subjects' hordes, with trampling horse, with clanging bow, dread to behold and stern to know, high hearts and faithful swords. Then Artemabar, glad knight and fray, Imionos of the shafts that slay, Masiastris, Farandakis, yea, and chariot Sosathanes, rode past us. Many another king did Nile the many child that bring to war, the master of the spring. Egyptian Susikanes, Arsam the tall, who holdeth guard over holy Memphis. Ariomarde from ageless Thebes, with rivermen who bend the bow and stride the fen, multitudes dark and fell. We saw the armies proud and gay of Lydia, who enthralled them sway, the tribes of Asia, them the wise, Arctios and Megothates' eyes, of the great king from Sardis sent, with all her golden armament, and fourfold eye and sixfold team, we saw their myriad chariots gleam. Fearful to see or to tell, there marched the Timolean mountaineer, who vowed on Hellas' neck to cast the bondslave's yoke. There Mardon passed, and Thariebius, anvils of the spear. There, rank by rank, the Mysian lance flashed, and with trailing wide advance, there swept the golden Babylon, her motley nations on and on, men of the river, men who know the magic of the fearless bow, and all the long-knived multitude of Asia's hidden valleys rude, but faithful followed row on row, kings' men untamable. So hath the flower of Persia's youth departed, whom in strong desire this Asian soil that nursed their growth lamenteth, and without avail full many a sire, full many a wife and mother stay, waiting his day still following day, and dread the lengthening of tale. They are gone, the great armies, battle-proven, city quellers. They have reached the further side. They have bullied them a causeway flaxen woven over the strait where maiden Hella sank and died. For they sought a path and found it, and with many fetters bound it. for a yoke upon the shoulders of the tide. And the dread king his multitudes he guideth, as a flock God hath given to his hand. In his stern true captains he confideth, to be masters of the water and the land. From the shower of heavenly gold, where his father's springs of old, and godlike among the mortals doth he stand. In his dark eye is the glare of a serpent flashing fear. Many-handed, many-naved, he hath spurred his Scyrian car, and descendeth on the nations. He has baffled the strong spear with the bow shaft that slayeth from afar. In whom then confide ye to withstand the armed flood? Put his gyves upon the storm and enchain the rushing tide. For the armies of the Persian none living hath withstood, and the land's heart laugheth in its pride. So it hath been from of old, the overthrowing of strong towers is the birthright of the Persian, God appointed to his trust, and the thunder of the horsemen and their gladness it is ours, and the trampling of cities in the dust. We have turned us to the sea, and no fear is in our mind. With our bridge cables woven we have climbed from steep to steep. We have seen the waves witten in the fury of the wind. We have faced the holy places of the deep. But the deep craft of God, who shall escape from it or hide him? Can the runner so swift, can the leaper leap so high? Men seeth but a smile, and lo, Ate is beside him. With the nun net out climbeth till he die. Therefore doth my spirit mourn, robed in darkness, stabbed with fear, lest a cry the people hear, Woe, woe, woe for Persia's host forlorn, ringing through the wide unmanned streets of Susa's lonely land. And the ancient Kissian hold shall reply with manifold lamentation, murmuring, Woe, woe, woe for the people and for the king, till the women weep and tear the fine linen robes they wear. All the hands that chariots drive, all the feet of armed tread, gone like bees that leave the hive, round their one lord marshaled. Out beyond the bridged tide, that doth world from the world divide. And at home whence these are gone, there be pillows wet with tears, where some women delicately proud, as Persian women be, yearning for her man, her own battle-fiery warrior, gone forth amid the flashing spears, bears the yoke alone. Peace, and before this ancient pile, lords of the land true counselling, repose ye and take thought the while. What need is come? How fares our king? Is it the bow's victorious sway, or iron spearhead wins the day? But hither, like a star of heaven, one cometh, mother to the king. And queen to me, I bow to thee. Persians, to her be reverence given, by all in words of welcoming. The chorus moves to the left, and the queen enters in her chariot of state with many followers. O Queen most high, above all Persia's deep-girt daughters glorified, thou Xerxes' reverend mother, hail. All hail to thee, Darius' bride. A god of Persia gave thee love, a god of Persia hast thou born, unless that star that shone of old hath faded from this land forlorn. For that I came, for that I left my chambers canopied with gold, Darius' chambers, where he slept, where in his arms I lay of old, and care is plucking at my heart. O friends and faithful, to your ears I trust a tale, not mine alone, the tale of one beset with fears, lest fate, our master, overturn, on sweeping with relentless stride, the splendors that Darius reared, when, sure, some god was at his side. For that there murmureth in my heart a two-edged thought and hard to tell. Put not thy trust in store of wealth, save men be there to guard it well. Nor if the poor man's fame is dim, forget what strength is in his hand. Wealth, arms, and ships enough are ours, yet for the eye of all the land I tremble. Is not Persia's eye her king? Therefore I ask of you your counsel in this sphere, my Persians, ye the aged and the true, in whom for faithful words and wise my trust is and has ever been. Thou art the mistress of the land, and never shalt summon twice, O Queen, our aid in counsel or in act, whenever we have the power to guide. Servants true-hearted in thy need are these thou callest to thy side. The Queen descends from her chariot. Long have I dwelt with visions through the hours of darkness ever since with all his powers Martial-Ed my son departed for the shore of Hellas conquering, but never before flashed there so clear a vision on my sight. I tell thee the whole tale as yesternight. Meseemed there came two women in fair guise, robed, one in Persian garb, worn in Dorian wise, clear to my dreaming sight. In stature far grander than they seemed than earthly women are, of flawless beauty, sisters of one race, each had her home and in its appointed place. And Hellas won, and in Barbary then rose between them, so I seemed to see some discord, and my son saw, and would fain call them, and make them gentle to the rein. Beneath his chariot and his yoke would bind on both their necks, and with one head inclined, was glad and plumed her in that harness proud, meek to the curb, the other, all uncowed, struggled, and with both hands asunder tore the harness and away unbridled bore the chariot, and at mid-yoke snapped the wood, and my son fell, and there beside him stood his father, King Darius, pityingly, and Xerxes, when he saw him, gave a cry, and rent his robes. So much I saw in my dream. I rose, and quickly in a flowing stream cleansed me, and with an incense-bearing train approached our altar stair to pour amain to them that avert evil their full meed. Of they it is whom now we need, when lo, an eagle in the air which fled to Apollo's temple. Dumb I stood with dread, and looked, and there, pursuing in full flight, a hawk wide-winged, with talons stretched to smite the eagle's head. And he did naught but cower, and yield his body to the victor's power. Terrors be these for me to look upon, for you to hear. Howbeit, be sure my son, victorious, shall be away among men, a wonder if he fail. Nay, even then, once saved, he abideth no man's reckoning, but reigneth still unchallenged, Persia's king. O mother of the land, we fain would neither turn thee to despair, nor yet embolden overmuch. Go thou and seek the prayers in God. Is aught among thy dreams amiss? Beseech that it turned to naught. Is aught good to thy house, and thee be it to blessed fullness brought? Yea, and to all the land and all who love us. Next, drink offerings pour to the great earth and her buried dead, but chiefly with thy love implore thy lord Darius. Sayest thou not himself was with thee yesternight, to send for thee and for his son good things from the darkness up to light? Whatever is other, let earth hold it down, let darkness make it blind. No prophet I, only in love I speak, with seercraft of the mind. Thy dreaming so reading that, whatever it bode, the end may be griefless. So be it, first reader of my dreams, a loving seer I find in thee, and strong thy words of omen hast thou made, for me and for my sons. That which is good may heaven fulfill, these issues as thy counsel runs, I lay upon the gods above, and the beloved who lie below. So saying now I go within, yet stay, there is a thing I fain would know. Say where in all this peopled world a city men call Athens lies? Far distant, where our Lord the sun sinks and his last effulgence dies. And this far western land that is my son so craved to make his prey? Aye, for if Athens once were his, all Hellas must obey his word. Has Athens then such multitudes, such hosts of mighty men to lead? A faithful army which of old hath wrought much havoc on the mead. An army, have they likewise wealth enough to keep them from the land of dearth? A silver fountain spring is theirs, a secret treasure of their house. What weapon flashes in their hands? Have they the bow that smites afar? Not so, the spear that stabbeth close, the shield that goes not back in war. What master holds them in the fray? What shepherd's rod to drive the herd? To no man living are they slaves, nor bow them before no man's word. Unmastered? How can they endure the onset of an angry foe? Methinks Darius knoweth, and his great and goodly armies know. Thy words bring evil thoughts to them whose children are beyond the sea. But stay, methinks thou shalt soon hear the full tale, yea, the certainty. I see out yonder one that runs as runs the Persian couriers. Oh, for sure some certain news at last he beareth, be it weal or woe. Enter the messenger. O walls of all the east, O towers of might, Persia my home, thou haven of delight, how in one blow our garnered bliss is fled, all in the flower of Persia fallen and dead. God's mercy, though it's bitter to the soul, to bear ill tidings, I must needs unroll the full tale of our sorrow. The whole host of Barbary of my countrymen is lost. The messenger breaks down in tears. The chorus enters and sings. O pain, burdened of pain, fierce-hearted strange, ye Persians weep amain for sorrow, for times that change. All yonder, all is death, alone I come, and beyond hope, to see the light of home. This life 'tis a tale long told, long born to hear, a sudden being so old, griefs that surpass our fear. I heard not others' tales, myself was there to read the full told story of despair. In vain, was it all in vain? Those crowding shafts of war flew over the Asian main to the Hellenes' angry shore. Crowded with dead men miserably lost is Salamis and the bay and all the coast. They whom we loved, ah me, wave-beaten limbs see on the dyed. Dead things will wash in the sea, the long cloaks flapping wide. Our arrows served us not, the peaked brow shattered our ships and laid the bowmen low. Woe to the men of war, uplift your voice in bitter weariness and long lament. Shall all that is evil everywhere rejoice? Is that great host forspent? Salamis, Salamis, O name of hate, I groan remembering Athens, now too late. Hate her, ye men of war, let her be hated forever. Athens, see ye forget her not, remember the widows, the childless, the unmated, these things hath Athens wrought. The queen re-enters. Long have I held my peace as one struck dumb with sorrow, when so vast a thing is come upon us. Who can tell it, or who dare to ask the story? Yet since man must bear what the gods send, be still thou and unroll, albeit thy tears yet run, thine evil scroll to the utter end. Say first, who is not slain of sceptred kings, and who shall never again look on this land, but leave an empty throne? Xerxes himself yet lives and sees the sun. The word is joy to all my house, a bright gleam as of morning after a starless night. But Artambar lies battered, he the chief of myriad horse, on the Scylian reef. The chiliarch Dodicus in one fell leap, tossed by a lance, went headlong to the deep. On Ajax's rock, wave-beaten, tempest-blown, lies Bactria's best and truest, Tenagon. Liliaios, Arsamanes, Argetestes too, by that small isle where the pigeons flew. lay budding in the refluence of the wave, the hard ground with their foreheads, Arctius brave, who dwelt beside the Nile spring's furthest marge, Adeus, and the wielder of the targe. Pharanucus fell thee from a single bark, lordly Metellus, crisis Meiadiarch, the tangled forest of his beard so red, hath dyed a costlier crimson, he lies dead. Arab the Mede, and Bactrian Artabas, who led the myriad coal-black horse, alas, drowning upon a cruel shore they found, refuge and perished as they touched the ground. Amistrius and Amistrophates, of the dart unresting, Ariomardos, true of heart, how Sardis loved him, Mysian Artemis, and Thariepius, the cleaver of the seas, with 5 times 50 ships of Lerna's race. I saw him dead, a man once fair of face, alas, in death not happy, and withal Cianesses, the highest heart of all, Sicilia's lord, none like him in the fray, ringed with dead Greeks in glory passed away. Alas, thy tale is as a mountain step of grief, yea, shame and lamentation deep. But go back and tell me this, what were the numbers of the craft of Greece? How did they dare confront the serried row of Persian ships in onset, prow to prow? For multitude be sure our eastern men had conquered, for the Greeks had squadrons 10, 30 in each, and with 10 select for speed, on special service, under Xerxes' lead. I know the number is still 1,000 sail, and separate of speed incomparable, 200 keels and 7. Who shall say we were too weak to face the foe that day? But some dark demon, with no poised scale, down weighed us and made strength of no avail. These gods protect their own Athens' land. How so? Does the Athens yet unbroken stand? While her men live, she hath a breachless wall. How first began the battle? Tell me all. Was it the Greek who struck, or did the king my son his great force to the hazard fling? Queen, for the first beginning of these woes, some fiend or madman, whence he came, who knows? Greek seeming from the Athenian ranks drew near to Xerxes' self, and whispered in his ear, that, once the veil of hiding night should fall, the Greeks would wait no more, but one and all leapt to their oars, and scattering left and right, made off to save their lives in headlong flight. Xerxes gave ear, and reckoning not the while of heaven's magnify or Grecian guile, his words to all the shipmasters sent round, soon as the sun should leave the parched ground, and darkness take the temples of the sky, the main fleet in 3 columns should stand by, closing the way to Athens, while the rest went round the island, guarding on the west the narrow ways and races loud with foam, else if the Greeks escaped an evil doom, finding some secret way of flight, he said each master of a ship would lose his head. Such was his word, right full of mirth was he, so little guessed what he the end should be. In order and obedience all the fleet supped and prepared, each oarsman took his seat, and nimbly to the rowlock strapped his oar. Meantime the sunlight melted from the shore, and night drew on, and in their ships arrayed, each man at arms, each bender of the blade. From rank to rank the word was passed, down the long line, and on they moved at last, each to his station. And all the night through, each captain rowing kept his crew. And night wore on, and never sound nor sight from the Greek fleet gave sign of secret flight. Not till the wild white horses of the morn took all the earth with glory, then was born a sound across the sea, a voice, a strong clamor exultant like a leaping song, and echo answering from the island rock cried battle. To our men there came a shock of fear and hopes undone. No note there rang of flight in that high paean that they sang, only glad courage, hot to do and dare, outburst their trumpets, flaming through the air, and splash their foaming oars and straining styred the briny furrows at the helmsman's word. And all the ships were out and clear to view. The right wing led the van in order due. Behind it the whole fleet, prow after prow, then one great shout, "Now, sons of Hellas, now! Set Hellas free, set free your wives, your homes, your gods' high altars, and your fathers' tombs. Now all is on the stake." At once from us a storm of Persian voices clamorous made answer, but no time was left to speak. Already ship on ship its brazen beak had driven. The first rammer was a Greek, which sheared away a great Sidonian's crest, then close one on another, charged the rest. At first the long-drawn Persian line was strong, but in those narrows such a throng was crowded ship to ship could bring no aid. Nay, with their own bronze-fanged beaks they made destruction. A whole length of oars one beak would shatter, and with purposed art the Greek ringed us outside, and pressed and struck, and we, our oarless hulls went over till the sea could scarce be seen, with wrecks and corpses spread. The reefs and beaches too were filled with dead, and every ship in our late fleet away rode in wild flight. And there through all the bay, as men killed tunnies crowded on the shore, or some great fish with clubs of broken oar and spars of wreck, they beat and broke and killed our men. With crying all the air was filled, out from the narrows to the shoreless main, of slain men and men wailing for the slain, till the blind veil of night swept all away. Not though for 10 long days, day after day, I spoke, could I express that mass of woe, for never yet, this ye may surely know, have on one day so many thousand died. Ah me, a flood of suffering deep and wide hath broke on Persia, ye and all the East. O Queen, all that thou hast heard, twofold increased, were not yet all. Such added coils of woe befell as twice outbalanced those ye know. What bitterer fortune can there be? But tell thy tidings to the last. What thing befell darkening our skies to this still deadlier storm? The chosen of the host, of goodliest form, of noblest lineage, of the most valiant sword, and truest heart at the king's council board, are dead, unpitied, and unhonored all. O ye who love me, 'tis an evil fall, but tell thy tale, by what fate perished these? An isle there is in Salamian seas, small, of ill anchorage, where none may dwell, save Pan the dancer by the soft sea swell. Here Xerxes landed. He hoped that, when flung from their broken vessels, shipwrecked men made for the island, these might watch and slay our enemies floundering, an easy prey amid those briny streams, or save a friend, if any came. Ill he foresaw the end. Soon as God gave them victory on the sea, the Greeks, ever fall of eve, their panoply of bronzen arms did on, and leaping out, landed and ringed that island all about. Our men had no escape. From left and right, stones hand-flung battered them, and flight on flight of arrows from the bowstring raining slew. Then in one rush they charged and overthrew our lines, and hacked and butchered till no more breathed any life of man upon the shore. And Xerxes groaned, looking upon that deep of misery, for a throne he had, a steep and towering crest hard by the open sea, commanding all the field. Yea, bitterly his voice he lifted up, his robes he rent, and orders swift to the land armies sent. Then headlong turned and fled. Weep then for more affliction, beside that I told before. O doom of wrath, how hast thou made untrue the hope of Persia? Long my son shall rue his vengeance on great Athens. Had the plain of Marathon not enough of Persians slain, for whom he needs must seek revenge, and lo, heaps on his head this magnitude of woe. But speak, the ships that escaped that evil day, Where didst thou leave them? Hast thou power to say? The galleys that escaped, discomfited, blindly before the wind to refuge fled. Meantime the army on Boeotian ground, one part was left and thirsted, crowding round. Some little well or empty laboring for breath went searching for some spring. The rest of us, retreating, made our way through Phocis and Locris and the Melian Bay, where old Sperpheus, streaming through the flat, brought us his blessed water. After that food failed, as through the Achaean vale we fled, and walled Thessaly. 'Twas there the dead fell thickest, some from hunger, some from thirst. The two were there together. Then we burst through to Magnesia and the mountain coast of Macedon. By Aeschylus ford we crossed, past the marsh reeds of Bolabe and the cold ridge of Pangion that the Edonians hold. That night God sent a storm, and winter came out of all season and froze hard the stream of holy Sturmion. Many a man who never had hecked at all before a God of prayer then lifted up his voice and bowed his knee to earth and heaven. Aye, long and earnestly they prayed, and then across the ice-bound flood set forth, and verily their luck was good, who crossed before the light of morning came. For soon a bright round sun with rays like flames spread heat, and midway pierced the ice beneath. In crowds, one on another, down to death they fell, and him I hold the happiest, whose life breath soonest failed him. For the rest escaped beyond the river, day by day, with toil and sweat through Thrace they forced their way. And now a scant and scattered band return to the old land, where still our hearth fires burn. Well may this realm of Persia weep in ruth for those her best loved, her people's youth. All have I told is true, and much unsaid remains that God hath hurled on Persia's head. O fortune hard to fathom, how on all that Persia loved thy heavy hand doth fall. Woe for a mighty army sunk so deep, thou vision of my phantom-haunted sleep. Most clear thou didst foretell some evil thing, and all that too light was your interpreting. Howbeit, as thou hast counselled, first will I give prayer and worship to the gods on high, and then to earth and the departed bring out of my stories a rich drink offering. Too late, I know, when thou gainest which I pray is past, yet something peradventure may be left, which prayer can mend. Therefore do you with others of true heart take counsel true, to meet our land's affliction. And my son, if he should here return while I am gone, comfort ye him and guide him to the door, lest to these griefs he added yet one grief more. Exit the queen. The chorus enters and sings. O Zeus, how hast thou then cast down all Persia's host, the great, the proud, and buried in a weeping cloud Agbatanta's and Susa's town. Now many a silken veil shall fall, torn by soft hands, and many a breast be wet with tears through veil and vest, for grief that is the grief of all. And many a gentle Persian bride is yearning for her lord new wed, the tender arms, the silken bed, youth in its joyance and its pride, they weep, unsatisfied. And shall not we, the old men, shed tears of remembrance for the dead? Now riseth up on either hand a groan from Persia's empty land. Xerxes hath led, oh woe is me. Xerxes hath lost, ah misery. Xerxes hath brought his evil thought with galleys on the waste of sea. And where wast thou, the untouched of woe, Darius of the conquering bow, our lord, our loved one, long ago? Landsmen and seamen, there they lie, O sweeping wing, O darkling eye, of ships that led, ah, woe is me, of ships that lost, ah, misery. They sank below the beaked blow, and Yawen smote them down to die. And now along the uncomforted and angry tracks of Thrace, they said, with followers few, the king is fled. but some by an earlier doom snared to die. Ah me, where the billows lash the crags that are Curious' tomb lie weltering. Wail and gnash your teeth, uplift your cry as the dark cloud in the sky. Let your voice strain its last wild note from pain. They are torn by the awful sea, they are gnawed, woe is me, by the voiceless tribes that creep from the womb of the virgin deep, and the desolate houses weep. We are old, we are childless. High it is lifted, it fills the sky. Do these not know the extreme depth of woe? No more over the Orient nations the law of the Persian hath sway. No more do they bring supplications and tribute to him they obey. Now bow them in worship and cower on the earth, for the great king's power has fallen away. The tongue of mankind is no longer in prison, the yoke is undone. Of greatness a voice riseth stronger from the people whose freedom is won. The blood-soaked wave-lashed isle of Ajax hath wrecked by the guile Persia's great throne. The queen re-enters. He who hath walked the hard ways of the world well knoweth how, when once the storm is hurled upon him, men see terrors everywhere. Even as before, when fate was flowing fair, he deemed forever the same wind would blow. Whenever I turn, my world is full of woe. Against mine eyes shapes of God's anger stare, and in my ears ring voices of despair. Such depth of fear hath cast all reason out. Therefore, without my chariots and without the pride I came with, from the house I bring to my son's sire in peace this offering, meat to appease the dim hearts of the dead, white milk and sweet from kine unblemished, pale honey that the blossom thieves distill, with water blended from a virgin rill. And here true offspring of a mother wild, and ancient vine's bright essence undefiled. And she who leaves makes spring of all the year, the olive lo, her fragrant flute is here. And earth's fair children, flowers ungarlanded, friends with such song as worship of the dead. Beseems make music calling from his grave, Darius the great spirit to rise and save, while I, the queen, in due procession go, with draughts earth slaking to the gods below. The queen with her attendants offers prayers and libations at the tomb. O queen of Persia worshiped, through earth's deep veins thine offerings do send, while we to them that guide the dead make song to hear us and befriend. Ye holy rulers of the night, Hermes in earth, and King dark-browed, help now and hinder not the prowed. Spirits up striving to the light, some secret comfort he may know, he only that would heal our woe. Doth he hearken he in glory, the great king who is as a god, to a choked voice, a dumb story, in words strange yet understood? Shall my sorrows force its way until he hear me from his realm beyond the sod? O ye lords of the departed, and thou earth, ye shall not stay in his goings, the proud-hearted spirit, Persia's god away, such an one as never yet. O guide him to us, in the soil of Persians lay. As ye loved him, love his grave mounded, where the old king thoughts abide. Adianoias, thou upraiser, Adianoias be his guide. Where a king stalketh lonely to the light, Dariasha. In the madness of lost battles, never wasted he our youth. They had named him God in counsel, and God counseled him in truth. For his hand upon the helm steered aright, Dariasha. O Arabale, ancient Bale, be thou near on the crest of this thy grave mound, O please appear. Let the Corcus golden sandal give him a sign, let the high king's tiara rise and shine. Thou our father, thou undarkened here, O hear, Balayanau. A thing meet for lamentation and strange woe, O thou master of our masters, hear and know. For a darkness as of death is overheard, and the youth of all our people lieth dead. Thou, our father, thou, and darkened, far below, Balianahu. Long dead, long wept for, why hath this been? King, king, to whom we cry, this thing unknown before, this twofold monstrous weeping wage of sin, a dead land, and at the sea the ships, the three bank-oared ships, oared no more, Dareyasha Balayanu. The ghost of Darius rises slowly from his tomb. The elders prostrate themselves before him. O ye among the true, supreme in truth, elders of Persia, comrades of my youth, what ails my land? Why groans she thus forlorn, her brow sore bruised and her body torn? To see my wife but now beside my grave, I trembled, nor refused the gift she gave. And now ye too in grief on other hand, with necromantic lamentation stand, crying for help. But hard is the road I tread, hard every way, and they that hold the dead have swifter hands to grasp than to let go. Yet, seeing I have some power among them, lo, I am here. But haste, I may not linger late. What strange affliction boweth down my state? Oh, we feared to meet thine eye, and we feared to make reply, for the awe that was about three from of old. 'Twas but in answer to your call I clove the darkness and am here. What would ye get you with me? Waste not this little hour with words of fear, but showing plain what need thou hast, speak on, and that old awe forget. Oh, we fear to see thy face, and we dare not grant thy grace, with a tale too bitter to be told. So be it, since that ancient awe beneath your bosoms lingereth yet, thou aged partner of my bed, thou queen of royal lineage, cease from lamentation. Let me hear these tidings clearly and in peace. Affliction is man's lot, and needs must come to things of mortal birth. Evils abundant from the stars are born, and evil from the earth, to fall upon mankind as life draws onward in its lengthening span. O thou exalted on a throne more than the thrones of mortal man, in life all Persia held thee blessed, a sunlight life of happy breathed, and now to have died ere eyes have seen our fall, I hold thee blessed in death. But a little time sufficeth to make all things known. Let the dread word be spoken, all our power is wrecked and overthrown. How wrecked? Came there some pestilence from heaven, or treason in the state? Not so, king. Our army round the shores of Athens met its fate. Athens? And who among my sons hath marched the Persian armies there? The fiery Xerxes. For that march he swept the plains of Asia bare. How went he forth, by land or sea, unhappy on a quest so vain? By land and sea at once he moved, a twofold front in armies twain. So vast an army and on foot, how could they cross the narrow sea? On Helle's flood his engines laid a yoke to make the passage free. And this he wrought, with prison bars he curbed the living Bosphorus. 'Tis so, methinks there wrought with him some demon that he ventured thus. Surely some great demon in power to shed such darkness over his thought. Till now all men may see the end, and know what issue he hath wrought. What stroke then hath befallen, that thus ye wail as for a nation lost? The ships defeated fled, and brought destruction on the land-born host. Is all the strength of Persia alike so wasted by the spear? These empty streets of Susa town weep for the men that are not here. Alas, ye gods, the faithful band, the help of all in need, undone. And Bactria's armies utterly are perished, none remaineth, none. Unhappy son, the youth, the flower of Persia's warriors cast away. And Xerxes with a faithful few deserted and alone, they say. Come to what end at last, and where, speak out, is anything not lost? Came, thanking God, back to the bridge whereby the world to world he crossed, and stands again on Persian soil. This is very sooth. It is. Amid many rumors this prevaileth ed, none denies its truth. I see all, 'tis the end foretold, how swift the oracle hath sped. The word of Zeus I knew must be fulfilled, and lo, on Xerxes' head it falleth. I had looked for this not until many years were gone, but when man hasteth of himself toward sorrow, God will help him on. Here is a spring of evils burst on us and ours, which all might know, save him who, understanding not, in his hot youth hath made it flow. He thought in fetters like a slave the holy Hellespont to bind, and Bosphorus, the stream of God, refashioned to his mortal mind. With hammered bonds of iron he wrought for a great host a far-flung road, and not in wisdom dreamed a dream that man could match himself with God. Subdue Poseidon, what was this but madness of the soul? I fear lest my long-garnered treasure fall a prey to the first ravisher. These be the lessons he hath learned, our fiery son, from men of naught, who whispered, clinging to his side, how thou with conquering spear hadst wrought great kingdoms for thy sons, while he, unmanly, never passed the gate, had moved in arms, nor added one new province to thine ancient state. Heard day by day from evil men, such gibbings goaded him to seek at last some deed of deathless fame, and hurl his armies on the Greek. Therefore is done the deed they lusted for, great and undying, such as never before, hath fallen to lay all Susa desolate, not since God first to man this high estate granted, that over all realms of Asia one, bearing the staff of law, should rule alone. Medos was first to guide his multitude, a son of Medos next, whose rule was good, for wisdom was the helmsman of his mind. Then Cyrus, happiest he of humankind, brought by his rule to all the faithful peace. Lydia and Phrygia did his realm increase. Yawayan he drove before him. Yet, I wot, merciful was he, and God loathed him not. The fourth to rule this land was Cyrus' son, the fifth false Mardos, shame to the ancient throne, and soil that bore him. Him with treason true, bold Artaphernes in his castle slew, with 6 good comrades plighted to the dead, and lots were cast, and fell as I had need. And many lands with many hosts of war I swept withal, but never thus did mar my country's fortune. But my son, in truth, a young man's thoughts are but the foam of youth. The charge I gave him, Xerxes hath forgot. O partners of my long life, well ye wot, not all who erst have held this ancient throne, such weight of ill have wrought as he alone. How then, O Lord Darius, wherein lies the burden of thy charge, and in what wise may stricken Persia still her welfare seek? No more against the regions of the Greeks send forth your hosts, and whatever their force and might, for earth herself fights with him in his fight. The earth fights with him? How, O master, say? Numbers too great, by famine she will slay. A small and chosen army we can raise. Nay, for not even the army that now stays in Greece shall ever again this country see. How? Is not all the host of Barbary returned to Asia over Hellas' strait? Few out of many, if God's word of fate we trust, as knowing sure from days gone by, it falleth not here, but true and there a lie, which thus foretells, by empty hopes make blind Xerxes' chosen army leaves behind, where old Aeschylus, with his rills like rain, Boeotia's treasure, waters wide the plain. There doth the crown of suffering yet await those godless, though with pride infatuate, who made of Greece their prey, nor held it shame to rob her gods and give her shrines to flame. Altars lie wrecked and images of God overthrown, disbased and down in rubbish trode, for which sire's sin dire sufferings now is theirs, and direr still shall be. nor yet appears dry land beneath the springs. Still they flow, and oozing crust Placia's fields shall know, of mire blood soaked beneath the Dorian lance, and piles of dead dumb warning shall advance, even to our children's children, that the eye of mortal man lift not high his hopes. Proud in her flower makes the full the barren ears, but of Ate and no harvest hath but tears. Yea, therefore, having seen these deeds this way to judgment brought, remember Athens, yea, remember Hellas, nor let any man scorning the lot wherewith his life began, for lust of what he hath not, wreck his bliss. Zeus sitteth judge above us all, his it is to check the uncurbed dreams of man, and weight is in his arm to bend the crooked straight. Therefore do ye, being warned of God to move in wisdom's way, advise my son, and prove, with grave admonishment, that he may still the voice of pride, nor war against God's will. And thou, mine aged and beloved, thou mother of Xerxes, to thy chambers now returning, seek such raiment as is meet for princes, and go for therewith to greet. There be but tatters round his bare breast of the remnant rent in his despair. Go, comfort him. From none but thee, be sure, counsel and comfort will his heart endure. I to the dark once more shall tread my path, and ye, old friends, even in this hour of wrath, grant your soul day by day what she may crave. Man takes no riches to the grave. The ghost of Darius sinks beneath the tomb. The chorus enters and sings. 'Tis pain to hear the wounds of Barbary, many this day, and many yet to be. Thou evil doom, and many a stab thy spite hath pierced my flesh, but this methinks doth bite. Deep is the shame and loud dishonouring of my son's body. Robes meet for a king shall wait his coming. Never shall my care fail my beloved in this deep despair. Golden and great was the life that the gods let fall to us in King Darius's day. Griefless, unconquered, divine, he was then all in all to us. And the land loved his sway. Straight in that day were our goings, our armies glorious. Our laws stood firm like towers, unwounded, unwearied. Our men came from battle victorious. Great peace at home was ours. What far-off peoples he conquered, yet crossed not the Hellas, nor stirred from his own place. The brood of the waters who walked the Styrionian valleys, heard from the wilds of Thrace. The turreted steedings far up from the lakeland, unbidded bowed to his voice's law. The proud Hellespontiac, Propontis far hidden, the Euxine's iron jaw. Far reacheth the horn of the sea, but the wave-lashed islands, close to our shores that ride, Lesbos and all of rich Shamos, obeyed his hand, Mykonos, Chios, and Paros, and Naxos, and Panos at Andros' side. And them in the clasp of the deep, the mid-main highlands of Lemnos he made strong. Rhodes and Synodos and Icarios' isle were his, Cyprian, Paphos, and Soli, and Salamis, whose mother wrought this wrong. In the portion of Ayawan, full many a reach-crick town, his wise thought held in fee. Strength unfailing was ever between his hands, his mail-clad armies, his hands from a myriad lands. O reversal of God, we are broken, we lie cast down, scorched by the conquering sea. Enter Xerxes. And am I fallen? Oh, the woe is me, in this dark coil of misery. O fate, how hast thou trod beneath thy hate the neck of Persia's chivalry? What cometh yet of grief to bear? My limbs are melted under me. O Father Zeus, when I behold this remnant of my people there, so few, so old, may the great darkness veil my head with them that battled and them are dead. Cry, cry, O king, for the valiant host, for the Persian law and its glory great, for the beauty of men, the pride, the state, cut down and lost. The land doth groan for her youth, her own, the youth of the land whom Xerxes led, crowder of Hades with Persian dead. They are gone, they are gone, the men very many, the bowmen strong, the flower of the land, a myriad throng. For the brave, for the true, woe's me, the land of thy birth, O Lord of the earth, forlorn, forlorn, is fallen to her knee. Yea, look upon my face and cry, a thing of shame am I, a thing born to misery, to land and house that cherished me. I waft thee on the wind, let it comfort thy return, a voice of lost hope, a remembering of fears, as the dark Marietianian uplifteth him to mourn, a loud lamentation that struggleth with tears. Cry out and falter not, though weak, with weeping, struggling yet to speak. All that ye feared might come to be, hath come, hath turned and fallen on me. Yea, all will I speak, till the whole tale be said, the suffering of man, the smiting of the sea, the burning of a land whose sons die lied. I will cry, cry my sorrow, till the tears run free. Yahweh hath taken them, Yahweh embattled in conquering galleys and ship-walled war, when he clove the dark of the waters and the desolate shore. Woe now, woe, cry on till he tell thee all. Where be the rest, thy friends withal, the bands who fought at the king's great side, where Pharachanades, and beside more Susios, Pelagonon, Pisamenus, Datatamas, and Susiacon, and Agabatapas, and Agabatapantas pride. I left them dying, fallen I left them, from a Tyrian galley, fallen and lost, by the headlands of Salamis, battered on the rock-riven coast. Why is Pharnacuius not with thee, and Ariamarados, where is he? Where is the Lord Seulucus gone? Lilialos, where the faithful son? Memphis and Tharibis and Mysia-Sutras, and Artemabar and Histacamius. I ask thee things. They looked upon Athens, the ancient, the loathed, and in one fell music they went to their death, on the hard land writhing, grasping for breath. Does he too in that ruin lie, whom Persia knew for thine own eye, most faithful, Batanakos' son, counter of myriads, known in Marshaled? Is Alpisisos there, Megabates, Sesames, and Pharos, and Obiares? Where hast left them, and they died, held by the foe? We ask for these, wound beyond wound to Persia's pride. Thou wakest my heart's love for the true companions, with thy tale unforgotten, ill on ill without rest, the heart crieth, from the dark of my breast. Others we seek and more again, the myriad dark of the Mardian men, Xanthes and the Aryans' lord, Anchar, more and more these are, Deoxyces I, and Arsacos, captains of horse, they are not here. Lithymnos tall, and Dodicades, and Ptolemos of the tireless spear. 'Tis strange, not round thy sunken lined wheeled tent they stand, they follow not behind. Lost, they are lost, they were the leaders of the host. Lost, alas, without a name, woe is mine, woe is mine. Ye gods, have ye wrought a shame we dreamed not of, her image there, glares of the eyes of Ate glare. Downcast, yea, while the span of life shall last, down to the earth, is this not plain? New woe, with sons of Yahweh on the main, we met, we fought, we fled afar, alas, the Persian loves not war. Downcast indeed, my great host about me lost. What is not lost that once was ours? O thou hast led all astray. This that thou seest of mine array, I see, this holder of the shafts that slay, a quiver, this only our stay, empty of arrows, little is here, no helpers near, is Yahweh on one. one that flieth from the spear. Nay, all too valiant I behold, a grief unlooked for, thou hast told, of bulwarked Persians backward rolled, seeking to flee. 'Twas that I rent my robe to see. Ah, well a day, and more than that of misery, twofold and threefold grievous day, and joyous to our enemy. Our strength undone, my state swept bare, our friends deep sunken in the sea's despair. Yet ye our wounds with tears and homeward go, brought low, cry as I cry and beat your bosom so, grievous gift from woe to woe. Make music with me, burdens here and burdens yonder, tier on tier. Lift arms, and sorrows as I say. Ah, well it is a day, cry as I cry and beat your breast this way. Lord, to hear is to obey, lift up your voices. Even so, time it with a black and sobbing blow. Now beat your breast and raise a Mysian song. Tear me your beard's old honor white and long. 'Tis torn right grievously, and cry ye cry, that I will do for thee. With blade-like hands thy bosom's raiment tear. Think of our soldiers slain and rend thy hair. Make wet thine eyes through the tears I cannot see. Each make answer as he hears, then back into the house with tears. O soil of Persia hard to read, wailing through the city go, through the long streets even so. O ye that walk so softly raise your head. O soil of Persia, thou art hard to tread. Of tree-rammed ships, O shoals of Persian dead. With sobs that scarce find voice, I lead thee home. The end.